Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Halifax Raiders Draft Glory franchise mode here in NHL 24. So in last episode, we had a little bit of a reworked team for our season, and we actually did really well, securing our second straight President's Trophy, going 53, 19, and 10, which I think is technically our best season yet, because I remember we did technically have, I think it was 55 wins last season, but in terms of, altogether points, I'm pretty sure this was our most successful season. It could be a little bit off, but it was a very good regular season for the boys, and I'm hoping that this could transpire into good playoff success. Obviously, we haven't had that yet, so it would be nice if that was to happen, but you could see our depth scoring on this team in terms of offense was fantastic, led by Wilm as per usual. But we did get pretty solid seasons from everybody on the team. Guys like Hamalainen stepped up a lot with 66 points. Dan Mason came through with 40 goals, which is something that I didn't even completely see at all. Sergeyev had over 40 points. We got very good depth scoring in our lineup. And also Sherov was very good as a depth forward. From a defensive standpoint, we had some good point production as well and some very good plus minuses, especially from our top two guys in Sea-Doo and Boys. Kolesnik was very good in terms of offense as well and also plus. In general, this team did really well. Every single thing was successful about this team, I think, except for our penalty kill, which wasn't very good, but it could obviously find itself in the playoffs. But here was our goaltenders. We ran 3 different goalies this year, and all 3 of them put up very similar numbers. But the best of the bunch was definitely the rookie in Mark Solis. So he's likely going to start the playoffs, but I'm going to have to make up a decision on that shortly. So excited to see what this team can do in the playoffs. But we're going to be taking on the Montreal Canadiens, and we obviously haven't had the best luck when we've been playing the Canadiens. I think we played them 2 times so far. We might be 1-1. But the thing is with Montreal is they have a very potent top line, and that's definitely a little bit of cause for concern. They weren't that great of a team during the regular season. They could end up being a cheese team to knock us out, but you can see their first line is definitely where we need to contain, because Cole Caulfield is still very good. He might be near the end of his career at this point. Berkeley Clinton is only 31 and 93 overall, and you also have Malcolm Spence, who's 30 years old and 89 overall. They also do have Slavkovsky at full health this time around. Last time he was injured, I believe. But their depth is definitely not the best, so that might be why they don't simulate that great. And then from a defensive standpoint, it's pretty much an average defense, and their goaltending is pretty solid too. So I think it's definitely going to be still a little bit of a tough task because we got to contain that top line. But if we don't contain that top line is when we're going to actually lose. If we do contain it, we should be able to easily win this series because we got the better depth. But then again, the game could make them the favorites in this, even though they technically aren't. So anyways, before we get into this first round matchup with the Montreal Canadiens, let's get into your guys' comments and see what you guys have to say. So the first comment is from Saturn Otaku, who says, a 40-goal season from someone who's listed as an exact top 9 with a role as a depth forward is not something I had in my bingo card for this season. If Solis was the full-time starter at the pace he was on, he could have very well won the Calder. Unfortunately, I don't see any of this transitioning into playoff success because EA, but I am hoping against hope to be wrong. So yeah, I hope that even though we had a great regular season, it doesn't mean that we're just going to get completely crapped on in the playoffs. I hope it means that our team can continue that success into the postseason. Usually that doesn't happen that often, so I am a little bit skeptical of our team, even though it did so well. More just because this game has a bit of a weird sim engine. If it had a bit more of a realistic sim engine, I think we would be able to get much further than the second round with this team. But EA is going to be EA. We could get eliminated by a team that barely finished above 500. That Canadiens team is pretty decent, especially top line wise. Yet they were only 42, 35, and 5. So it a little scares me a bit. Hopefully we can manage to beat them and whoever is next if that happens. The next comment is from Flame Husky, who says, haven't we always lost to Montreal? Can't remember right now, but I'm expecting a dominant win. And I think we are 1-1 if I remember right, because I feel like we might have played them a few years ago, or quite a few years ago. We might have beat them and then played Detroit in the second round and lost. And then we might have played Montreal again more recently and lost to them. So I think we actually have beaten them before. I could take a look at that after I go through the rest of these comments if I remember right, because I could look through back on all the episodes of the series and see if we actually made it out of round 1 against them or round 2 when we played them. The next comment is from Dustin Wald, who says, I noticed Draisaitl was 41 with an X factor, still putting up 116 points and 68 goals. Wonder what his overall might be. Let's take a look at that, because I honestly completely forgot that Draisaitl would have been a 41-year-old in this season. So Let's take a look and see what overall he is. He's probably still in Edmonton, right? Yeah, he's still in Edmonton. He's an 87 overall at 41. And yeah, he does still have some X factors, which is pretty crazy because usually as you get older, these players start to drop them. But he still has his X factors even without McDavid on this team anymore, because McDavid, I think, retired last year, if I remember right. Next comment is from Joseph D. Miller, who says, great series. One thing I've done in the past in my draft declares is hire the best coach, then write down their preferred line tactics, then draft players to match those line tactics. It can really help. Anyway, great job. Good luck in the playoffs. And thank you for that, Joseph. I think if maybe when we do another draft glory down the road, maybe we could use that type of method. But like, I haven't had much problems building up a team around a good coach. It's just more about drafting those players that you want to have first, and then you get a coach that kind of fits those scheme a little bit more. But it's also maybe not as good as it could be if you have a coach already and then build up around that coach, so to speak. But then again, sometimes coaches don't want to even re-sign with you too, so that's a little bit of a risk. And then our last comment is from Ian.NoLove, who says, I was waiting for this episode literally every 6 hours. I checked if Snipe had released a new series of Halifax franchise. I am insanely glad to see the success of this team. Congratulations on the second President's Trophy, and great achievement for the team. The questions for the press conference are as follows. Number 1, the dominant season for the main team of the franchise, but how was the season for the AHL team? Was the team with the new coaching staff able to make it to the playoffs this season? And I don't actually know, so let's take a look. Did the AHL team make the playoffs as well? They did. They did. That's actually pretty great. And they also had a very successful season, 53-26-3. So shout out to Burnaby for making it to the playoffs with a very good record, as they probably should. So that means, I guess, the rookie goalie in Burkov must have had a very good season. We will definitely take a look at their stats here shortly as well, because maybe there is some very good stats that will be promising for our team next season. So we'll take a look at that in a little tiny bit. Will there be any changes in the D-core in order to contain the potentially most dangerous 3 players from the first line of Montreal? Not at the moment, but if we do run into defensive problems, then likely we might go back to like Felipe Flood, for example, back in the defensive core. But I think right now this defensive core might be able to do good against the top line of Montreal Canadiens, because the fact we have mostly DFDs in our defensive core, so maybe they could kind of just suffocate those guys, so to speak, because our only two-way guy, I think, in our lineup is Boys, if I remember right. Yeah, we're all DFDs except for Boys. So I'm hoping that those guys could just play great defensively against those top guys. Like I said, if we run into any problems where one guy's very badly minus, we could always throw Felipe Flood back into the lineup, or we can maybe even call up from the minors if needed. Number 3, will the penalty kills lines be restructured, as the statistics say the team wasn't good in that area of standpoint, or something like that. But anyways, no, there won't be any adjustments to the penalty kill yet. There might be if our penalty kill starts to struggle here in the playoffs early on. But right now, I think we're going to keep it with the same thing, because I think sometimes if your one area is not that good during a regular season, it could actually be pretty good in the playoffs. So I'm hoping that our penalty kill just kind of figures it out a little bit in the playoffs a bit more. And like I said, if it runs into more problems again, we could always change it up a little bit. Number 4, who will be the team's main goalkeeper for the playoffs, or will you also shuffle the goalkeepers to keep the players in better shape? And I think that might be the way we go. Is we might try one goalie for a game, and if he doesn't play good, we go to another goalie. If he doesn't play good, we go to another goalie. But we always want to maybe go with the goalie that's actually doing the best. So I think we probably will end up starting Solis in the playoffs, because he had the lowest goals against. And we probably will have Sonnenberg back him up for now, even though Sonnenberg was technically the worst. And if Sonnenberg ends up playing a little bit of the next game or something like that and doesn't do well, Norton could come in, and yeah, we could basically just shuffle the goaltenders until we get one that's a little bit more consistent and winning. And finally, Ian says, I look forward to each episode of the series. I am part of this team's history. Dear coach, thank you for the best Draft of Glory franchise on YouTube. I believe with all my heart that this team that gave us the huge amount of emotions will finally be able to get to the conference finals and be in the Stanley Cup final. We are waiting for victories we love and believe. Thank you for your painstaking work behind the cameras. I appreciate that, Ian, and that's a big ask for our team to potentially win the Stanley Cup this year. Obviously, it can happen because we do have a very good team, but the pain of the past, is it going to come to the forefront and we're going to suffer that again, or is the experienced guys on this team going to be able to do stuff for us? Because there's a lot of inexperienced guys on the roster too. So it is a bit of a risk. And also the goaltending situation, we don't really know who's going to end up being the best of the goalies. So I'm really hoping this is probably the last year you'll see Norton and also Sonnenberg in Halifax likely, because likely Burkhoff will end up being the backup and Solis will be starting next year, or they'll alternate between the two of them depending on overalls. So anyways, this is going to be our team. Let's get into this first round matchup and see if we could get to that second round. And hopefully in a few days I'm recording a second round, and hopefully after that I'm recording a third round or something like that, because this series is kind of flying by a lot quicker than I thought. It is kind of good because my throwback rosters are almost done, but at the same time I don't really want to get to the end of the series and not have a Stanley Cup. It would be really nice to get at least one before guys like Wilm retire, because Wilm only has probably another 4 to 5, maybe more seasons left in his career, which is not great. So anyways, game number 1 on home ice. We got home ice advantage for the entire playoffs. Can we take a 1-0 series lead? We should be able to. Let's see if that regular season success transitions to the playoffs. First period, 2-1 for us. I'll take it. Kolesnik opened to scoring 22 seconds in. Good to see Kolesnik scoring goals too, because he's a DFD, but he had 10 goals in the regular season, so he can score goals. Also, Mathieu scores, which is nice to see. Probably scoring against the team he grew up watching, my guess, because he sounds like he's a French Canadian. And then Slavkovsky scores a power play goal for them. So there's our penalty kill. Not doing great in the first period, so we might need to address it for next game, as it already has given up a goal. Shots are 13-9 in favor of the Habs, but we're up by 1 goal. Can we get some insurance? Second period, it is still 2-1. That's a much better period. Good defense, good offense, but still good defense. Shots are 22-20 in favor of us. We're up by a goal. Let's see if we can get some insurance here in the third and lock this game down. Come on, boys. Penalty kill. Nicely done, penalty killers. You got a penalty kill done. Another penalty kill. Nicely done again. Power play for us. And they get a goal after our power play. Brian Bucker ties the game at 2. That's not ideal. I didn't like that we scored early on, because usually you lose those type of games, which is not ideal. Oh my goodness, why did I have to speak? And we just get rammered. We get EA'd. His rammer wins the game for the Habs in the final few minutes. And Solis loses his first ever playoff game, allowing 3 goals on 37 shots, which is not terrible, but our offense needs to be much better against a team like the Habs. That is not a great way to start off this first round. We had a 2-0 lead and blew it. Kolesnik from Hamalainen and Mathieu from Boysen-Haken. And of course it has to be the guy with the last name Rammer that wins it. Yeah, their goaltender played good. Is there anybody that I would change in our lineup? Boom, we have some -2s. Well, one -2, and that's Lassick. Yeah, so he's played actually pretty good in that first game, so I think I might honestly hold on to him in game 2 as a goaltender. But I think I might make some adjustments already a little bit. Because, yeah, that's not a great way to start it off. Louis Mathieu is losing morale because of ice time. That's also not good. Because, obviously, I do not want to lose Mathieu to the offseason just because of lack of ice time. So, oh, yeah, he's listed as a third-line scoring forward. How about Sergeyev? Second liner, geez, man. Yeah, we have way too much depth in our lineup because a lot of these guys are listed as, like, first liners. Hey, Weber dropped down to medium 6. He was a low lead earlier. What do we want to do here? I don't know if we want to make much changes. There's not really much we can do at the moment. Defensively, could probably just keep it all the same. I think we might honestly just have to run with the same lineup. Maybe we actually do go to Sonnenberg this game, even though Solis was good. Let's give Sonnenberg a game, because why not? And was there any badly minus defenseman? Probably not, right? Yeah, there was only a couple minus defenders, and it was the top 6 pairings. So we'll keep it for now, but there is a chance that Felipe Flood might be in for game 3. The question is, can we get a good response from our team? Because if we go down 0-2 headed to Montreal, I feel like we're going to get swept, and this game is going to completely cheese me out of the first round. I honestly hate it, though, that when you win the President's Trophy, that you almost have like a 0% chance of winning the cup. It seems very unlikely that you're going to win it, but let's try and rewrite that. So here we go, game 2, still on home ice. We need to win this game, or else we're going to need to win 2 games in Montreal. Let me move my face over before I forget, because I almost did. First period of game number 2. 2-2. Once again, we had a 2-0 lead. Heikkinen and Hämäläinen. Good to see those guys scoring, but Hines scores for them and Ivanov. And it's 11 shots to 8 in favor of the Habs. So very identical to last game so far, where we had a 2-0 lead, and then our team just sat on our ass a little bit and gave up a couple goals. So hopefully we have a better response to that in the second period, because if they take the lead, they could definitely shut us down a little bit. So come on, boys. We need a big second period here. Let's grab that lead. Second period. Still 2-2. Yeah, this is very reminiscent to last game. Except for last game, obviously, we were up 2-1 after 1. This time it was tied 2-2 after 2, but it's very similar in terms of shots, goals against. Hopefully we do not blow another 2-0 lead. Come on, boys. Shots are 23-19 in favor of us. Let's get that next goal. Let's get it. Who wants to be that guy for us? Penalty kill in the third, and Malcolm Spence gives the Habs the lead. Oh, my goodness. This game is trying to cheese me. Mauricio Wilm. Let's go, Mauricio. We hadn't seen him in a while. That's a big goal from the captain. Penalty kill. Stop taking penalties, boys. We're so undisciplined here in this third period. And we are going to overtime in game 2. We need to get that next goal, because going down 0-2, like I said, to Montreal, not a great idea. Shots are 33-29 in favor of us. It's a 3-3 game. Who wants to be the hero and tie the series up for us? We've seen Mauricio Wilm score a goal. I want goals from guys like Lehman. Like, our top 6 has been a little bit quiet to start. Let's see what happens in overtime. Who wants to be the hero? Penalty kill in OT. We killed it off. Nicely done, boys. That's a massive penalty kill, but stop taking penalties, because we're pretty undisciplined in this game, I think, at this point in time. I don't know who's taking the penalty. Stop it, please, boys. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. We kill off 2 penalties here in the first overtime period, and we win the game in overtime, and it's the 40-goal man, Dan Mason. Let's go. Let's freaking go. That's a massive goal from Mason. Good to see him show up in the playoffs, too. Final shots are 44-36, and we win 4-3. That was a very close game, closer than probably should have been. But what a win for the boys. Good response. Heikkinen from Sea-Doo, Hämäläinen from Boys and Del Rovere, Wilm from Ahinen and Lassick, and the game-winning goal, Mason from Hämäläinen in Boys. 3 stars of the game. Hämäläinen the first star, Boys the second star, and Wilm the third star. He had 5 hits in the game, so Mauricio is showing his frustration a bit by throwing a lot of hits. I want to take a look at one thing. How much penalties are we taking a game? Where do we want to look? Oh, yeah, penalty minutes. Because I feel like we're very undisciplined here so far. We took 6 penalties in that game. 6 minor penalties. Yeah, that needs to be a little bit better. We do not want to be that aggressive. We can play aggressive, but we can't play aggressive to the point where we're taking penalties. Okay, so that's a massive win. Now can the momentum shift to us in Montreal? Can we win games on the road in this series? And how is the AHL team doing? They are tied 1-1 with Syracuse right now, so it's a best 2 of 3 scenario here for the AHL team. It would be nice if the AHL team did something this year, like won the Calder Cup, but obviously I wanted to Stanley Cup in the NHL first and foremost, but it'd be nice if the AHL team could do stuff too. Let's keep the team the exact same. Sonnenberg got the win. It wasn't pretty, but it was still a win. Let's keep Sonnenberg in that since he won last game, and keep our team the exact same since we won. Come on, boys. Let's get it done. Let's get some wins on the road. If we could get at least 1 win here, it'll set us up for a even series again. If we could get both wins, it would be very, very nice. Let me move my face over again because I always forget. First period of game 3. It is 0-0. I'll take that. I'll take a good defensive period. Shots are 13-12 in favor of us. No goals so far. Who is going to be the first one to break the deadlock? It's been a very close series. It's been a 1-goal game for every game so far, so wouldn't be surprised if this one's like that as well. Second period. 2-1 for us. Let's go. And once again, we had a 2-0 lead, though. I don't know what's with us and having 2-0 leads and them getting back into the game. Hämäläinen makes it 1-0. Del Rovere makes it 2-0. And Berkeley Catan scores a power play goal with 32 seconds left to get the Habs back into the game. Shots are 22-20 in favor of the Habs. We're up by a goal. Can we get some insurance and lock this one down? Hämäläinen might have been our best player so far in this first round. Lehman scores. That's one of the guys that I said was a little bit quiet. DeVoe answers right back for the Habs. Penalty kill. Please kill it off. It's a long-ass penalty kill, and we managed to kill it off, but they score afterwards. They got the momentum. Brisebois ties the game at 3. We blew a 3-1 lead. It's not great. Come on, boys. Oh my goodness. Are you serious? Caulfield makes it 4-3 late in the game. We can't score on the power play, and we blew a 3-1 lead. We've blown multiple leads in this first round, and it's another 1-goal finish. That's one we should have won. But Sonnenberg blew it, so Sonnenberg is going to be out. Solis is going to be back in net for next game. Oh boy. At this rate, I feel like we're going to go to a game 7. But it honestly depends if we win next game too. Hämäläinen from Sergeyev, Del Rovere from Weber and Lehman. Lehman from Weber and Del Rovere. But then we give up a goal right back from DeVoe. Brisebois then scores, and then Caulfield wins them the game. Why does this team do this to me? Why? Like, this has definitely been a very close series. We could technically be up 3-0 at this point, but we also need to be a bit more consistent with our lead. So guys like Hämäläinen are still losing morale because of ice time, which is not ideal. Which he's on a power play unit too, so he should be not as bad. But let's rework our lines a little bit. Also go back to Solis, like I said, for this next game. Norton might get an opportunity to back up because I'm not happy with how Sonnenberg played in that third period. Yeah, we're going to scratch Sonnenberg, and it's going to be Solis and Norton in net for us. Well, Solis hopefully only, but Norton might be the guy to back up him. In terms of our lineup itself, let's rework this lineup a little bit. Let's go to Hämäläinen first line, Lasik to second line, Weber to third line. And then we will, let's see, trying to look at the plus-minus scenario. It's not bad on most players. Lasik's a -2, he's the only one, really. Defensively, ooh, that top 6 pairing of Booze and Mangone isn't working. Booze has been the worst of the bunch, but he is going to stay in. He's going to go up to the top 6. We're going to... Paco's actually been really good, though. We're going to take Mangone out, and we're going to go with Felipe Flood. So it's going to be Paco and Flood. Yeah, it's going to be Paco and Flood, Booze and Kolsnik, and then Sea-Doo and Boys still. And then goalies, yeah, Solis and Norton. So that's going to be our change. Also, if Addison plays bad defensively for one more game, there is a chance that I might throw the Sheriff back in the lineup because he is getting close to probably retirement stage, my guess. So it'd be nice to get him in for at least one more game. I think that's what we're going to run with, if I'm not mistaken. Trying to think of what else we could do. There is a chance we could go back to Lehman on the top line at some stage and move Mason to the top 6. But I don't know if he's warranted the top 6 spots, even though he had 40 goals this season. Yeah, I'm going to keep it like this. Let's see if this team's able to respond. I know technically we could be up 3-0. We could technically be up 2-1 in the series, but we've had a big trouble on holding our leads in this series so far. So something has to change, and hopefully this is the type of game where our team all of a sudden starts to find itself and doesn't blow leads. Because game number 1, I think, did we blow the lead? I feel like we did. I feel like we've blown a lead in almost every game so far, which is not great. So here we go. Game 4. We need to win this game, or else we're going to have to win 3 straight games against the Habs. And I don't want to have that happen. So first period of game 4. This is crucial. Down 2-1. Maybe we could do to them what they did to us. We could come back from a 2-0 deficit. That would be nice. Caulfield scores first, though. Niederberger scores, and then Joel Weber gets us on the board. Shots are 10-7 in favor of the Habs. I'm not liking how this team simulates in the playoffs. I don't know what it is, but our team is just average in the playoffs, but great in the regular season. But hopefully we could find a way to tie this game up or take the lead in the second period, because we definitely need to keep close in this game, or else this game could get away from us. So please, boys, have a big second period. Second period, it is still 2-1 Habs, so we're still down by a goal. At least it's better than being down by multiple goals. Shots are 20-19 in favor of them as well. Can we tie this game up in the third period, or are we going to be down 3-1? Come on, boys, please get that next one. Who wants to be the boy for us? Mauricio's done not a lot here in the playoffs, which is concerning. No, Suzuki makes it 3-1. Come on, boys. We need a response to that. Oh, my goodness. I think we're going to need to win 3 straight games. Will makes us have a chance to get back in this game. Can we tie it, please? Please. We just won the President's Trophy. Oh, my goodness. They get the empty netter, and we lose 4-2. And we need to win 3 straight games against a cheese Habs team. I honestly hate this game sometimes, man. Like, we do so good in the regular season, and it's just like, yeah, playoff success is not going to be a thing for your team. I get that it's kind of good to have it more randomized, but sometimes it's easily scripted too, where you win the President's Trophy and you know you're going to get completely knocked out when it's a team that's like this. Like, the Habs barely finished above 500, but since they have a good top line and stuff like that, they're winning. But Weber from Mason and Sergeyev, Wilm from Ahinen and Hamalainen. We need to rework our lineup completely. I wouldn't really put that game on Solis either. He actually had a pretty solid outing. Yeah, Solis might have been our best goalie so far in the playoffs, but I think we're going to turn to Noren in the next game because he has not played yet. Because right now, none of these goaltenders have been working out as we've been hoping for. That was the first game that was a multi-goal win, but that fourth goal was an empty netter, so technically it was a 1-goal game as well. Man, we could have been sweeping the series at this point, but we've blown leads, and now we need to win 3 straight. It is doable. It definitely is doable with our roster, but this team needs to change that mindset completely, forget about these losses, and find a way. So we are going to move Lehman to the top line. We'll have Lassick on that second line, and we will likely... Hamalainen can't play center, right? No, he can't. Del Rovere can. Trying to think of what we could do to make this work. Weber's technically listed as a first liner, which is kind of weird, but we'll move Weber to there and put Vlasic on the right side since he's more of a shooter. Del Rovere down the middle, Weber up there. Hamalainen will be back with Mason and Sergeyev as well. We are going to take Addison out of the lineup, and we will give a chance to the Sheriff. Defensively, let me take a look at this plus-minus situation. -4 from Mauricio Booz now. Okay, Booz is becoming more and more problematic. He's getting taken out of the lineup, and Mangone is going in his spot. So Mauricio Booz will be scratched. Addison will be scratched, so the 2 young guys. And Sonnenberg will also be scratched. Norton will be getting to start this game to show that he's that goaltender for us this playoff run. I think that's what we're running with for sure. I could put Wilm down the middle, but I don't know if it always works that well. Instead of Del Rovere. Maybe I'll do that instead. Split up Wilm and Ahinen, because it seems like that top line's not really doing as much as I was hoping for. We'll go with something like this instead. Kind of rework our top 6 a bit. And in our bottom 6, we'll probably just stay pretty much the exact same, except for Sheriff draws in. Let's oh no, we can't reunite the top 2 guys because or else it's minus on every single unit, I think. There's no way to get rid of that, right? Yeah, there's not. I don't want to have a -3 on my second pairing, so we got to keep with Boys and Sea-Doo for now. Okay. We got to win 3 straight games. Can we pull off a miracle, or are we going to be eliminated in round 1 because this game absolutely hates the Halifax Raiders? I am very displeased with how the playoffs work with this team. Like, I'm impressed with our team regular season-wise. I'm liking this series, but I'm not liking our playoff success. Something needs to change, but I don't really know what. And we don't really have a lot of time left to win the Cup. I think we have maybe another 7 or 8 seasons left of this, almost. So we are kind of running out of time to win a Stanley Cup. But here we go. We got to win on home ice. Let's do a real-time simulation. Can we force a Game 6? That is our first thing. Hopefully we can force a Game 6, and then hopefully from there we can force a Game 7, and then get ourselves some out in the next round. Mangone scores, okay. Not who I was expecting to score in this game. Niederberger answers right back. And Slavkovsky scores for them. Norton's not proving himself well here early on. But once again, we had a lead early, and they answer back with 2 goals. 3 goals unanswered, even off scores. Oh my goodness, Norton. We gave you a chance, man, and you just gave up 3 goals in your first period. Maybe I should have went back to Sonnenberg or something instead, but sometimes you just got to try every goaltender. So that's not a good start for our team. Doing what it did in the last few games as well, where, like I said, we score first, or we scored the first 2 goals, and our team just completely collapses afterwards. Well, I know the press conference after this elimination potentially is going to be not great, because I don't know if I'm going to have all the answers to your guys' questions, but let's see what happens in a second, see if we can somehow claw back into this game. But not looking likely at this point. We needed more out of guys like Mauricio Wilm for sure. Power play for us. Come on, please. Oh, my goodness. Penalty kill. Nicely done. But we are still down by a pair of goals, boys. We need 2 more. And we are going to be trailing still by 2 goals going into the third. We need a miracle almost to win this game and to win the series at this point. I don't think it's going to happen. And we're going to pack our bags in the first round again. Shots are 24-22. We are getting chances, but their goaltender's been good. And if Montreal wins the Stanley Cup this season, it makes no sense because they're not even that built up of a team to win the Stanley Cup. Like, they have one line. They have one line, basically. Let's see what happens in this third period. But our season's likely coming to an end here. We do get a power play goal from Ahinen. That's nice to see. The pull us within 1. Power play for us again. We do not score there. Please, boys. Oh, my goodness. Ivanov gave them a 2-goal lead again, and Slavkovsky has ended it. 5-2. Norton didn't play good in this game like we were hoping he would. And, yep, we're going to be packing our bags in the first round of the playoffs after winning the President's Trophy because EA beat EA. Oh, my goodness. That is a big, colossal failure of a season in terms of the playoffs, at least regular season-wise. It's not, but this game literally could kick rocks. When you win the President's Trophy, you should have a much higher chance to win over a team like that. Like, the logic in that is very flawed. I get that you shouldn't have a 100% chance to win the Stanley Cup, but you shouldn't have, like, it almost seems like it's like less than 5% chance to get out of the first round. Like, it's kind of stupid. Like, we're like the Tampa Bay Lightning from when they got knocked out by the Blue Jackets. Mangone from Weber and Ahinen, and an Ahinen from Wilman, boys. But our top guys didn't do enough in that series at all. Well, that's a very disappointing effort. Norton should have played much better than that. He had an 800 save percentage, but likely him and Sonnenberg are gone, which means likely next year we run Burkhoff and Solis, and who knows, maybe that's what we need is Burkhoff, but that is a very disappointing effort from our team. Same shit, different year pretty much is what it seems like at this point. But we didn't get a lot of good efforts from this team. Like, Ahinen was almost point per game, which is okay. Wilm had only 3 points. He was pretty snake-bitten. He had a lot of shots, but he's 32 years old now. There's a chance that he could be retiring in the next few years with only 40 career playoff games and 47 points. He needs to be much better in the playoffs on a consistent basis. Mason had 2 points, only 1 goal for a guy that had 40 goals. Not great. Sherov was -1 in his only game. Addison didn't do anything as a rookie. Hamalainen was good, 5 points. Weber was a solid 4 points. Lehman didn't do much. Haken wasn't that good. Lassick was terrible. Right wing wise, Del Rivera wasn't that great. He was okay. Sergeyev was okay. And Mathieu wasn't that great. So, from an offensive standpoint, very not impressed with our top line. Ahinen, Wilm, and Lehman, those 3 guys that have been here a long time, need to be much better in the playoffs. It's as easy as that. Those guys are getting paid the big bucks, but they need to be much better in the playoffs. Like when Hamalainen's your leading point getter, that's not ideal. From a defensive standpoint, Boys was pretty good actually. 4 points in 5 games. But from an offensive standpoint, we still are drastically missing that offensive defenseman on our defensive core. Somehow Nicholas Paco is a +5 on this team. Probably with the lack of ice time, I guess. No, he was getting 18 minutes, so he was probably the best defenseman in terms of plus-minus. Everybody else was pretty mid defensively. Goaltending-wise, Solis was probably our best playoff goaltender, but Sonnenberg was trash in that one game as well. Solis today wasn't that great. Norton was absolutely tragic in that only game he played. And then let me guess, Montreal got offense from almost everybody on their team. Yeah, they got very good depth scoring in that first round. Everybody on their team picked up a point except for goalie. And then our goaltender had a very good first round as an 84 overall. Well, that sucks a lot. Is our AHL team still in the playoffs? Because that might be a team we could at least follow up until the results. No, they lost back-to-back games in overtime, and they're also out in the first round. Well, that really sucks. They lost 3 straight games, and 2 of them are in OT. Let me take a look at the AHL player stats, because I meant to do that. Abshai was really good. That's good to see. He might be NHL bound soon. Yeah, the AHL team had a good year, but they were knocked out in the first round just because they're affiliated to us. One of the biggest failures of a playoff team. And Burkhoff was pretty damn good. 8 shutouts in his rookie season. And then there's also Sawyer Michelli, who also has medium elite potential. And in playoff-wise, Abshai led the team. Dimitrov was actually really good as an AHLer, but he's probably going to be gone because he's a pending free agent. Maybe we should have called him back up. That was the goaltending numbers. Not great for Mateo. Not great, but that's okay. Okay, well, let's see who ends up winning the Stanley Cup and wrapping up this season. And, yeah, very disappointed. But I'm hoping that, obviously, that we could get some more good young players into our lineup next season to replace any guys that we end up losing this offseason, which might be a few guys. There's a chance. Like, who knows if Mason's going to want a lot after 40 goals. LA wins the Stanley Cup. Belleville wins the AHL. So the LA Kings are Stanley Cup champions in 2037. Who did they beat for the Stanley Cup? The Montreal Canadiens. What is this? How does that team go to a Cup Finals? That team is trash. Absolute trash. They only had one line. They go to a Cup Finals. Our team has multiple good lines, but they don't go to the Cup Finals. Sorry for my ranting and raving, but I cannot stand when this game simulates like that. But here's your Cup-winning LA Kings team, in case any of you guys wanted to take a look at it. But I am not very happy at this game right now. I mean, I've won already at least a cup with Winnipeg, but geez, man. Jesper Bratt's still playing, goddamn. Kochikov in net. Apparently we need Kochikov to win a Stanley Cup is what it seems like. Because that guy wins a lot. Award winners for the 2037 season. Yeah, so you look at that. Back-to-back President's Trophies. Maybe one of the only times I've done that, actually, in this series, I think. But still results in no Stanley Cup appearance. Tuukka Kuda, the Art Ross, and the Hart. Brandt Clark to Norris. Hughes, the Lady Bing. Tara Vinen for Seattle to Calder. Nordquist wins to Conn Smythe. Blunden, the Vezina, and the Jennings. Holmquist wins the Masterton. Ottawa's coach to Jack Adams. Voboda, the Selke. Kuda, the Lindsay. Draisaitl, Richard. And that is that. AHL-wise, any awards for AHL players? Abshai wins the best rookie. That's nice to see. Hopefully he's in the NHL next year. And that is that. Okay, let's continue summating up to retirements and finding out what this draft class and all that looks like. Oh, man. Not happy with this team. So there's the draft lottery. Florida, Columbus, Boston, San Jose, and Washington are your top 5. And then, let's see, retired players. I don't think we lost anybody because we're not that old yet. But Leon Draisaitl has finally retired at 41 years of age with over 2,200 points. Jeez, man. What a beast. Aho retires Braden Point. So some pretty big retirements. Cale Makar as well. Which is kind of good because maybe that makes the league a little bit worse and then us a little bit better. And when it comes to the playoffs, like McAvoy's gone now. Darlene, who was in our division. So maybe it helps us a bit. I don't really know. So there is a lot of the retirements. Very good retirement class, it looks like. And then goaltending-wise, Shesterkin retires. Ottinger retired. Yeah, pretty good retirement class for everything, it seems like. Okay. I don't think we lost anybody because I didn't have any notifications. Nico Hishe is now a coach. Interesting. And we did not lose an NHL coach. Did we lose anybody in the AHL? No, we did not. Perfect. Okay, let's not do draft interviews. Actually, maybe we should take a look at draft interviews in case. Just to see. I don't even know where we're drafting actually though, so you know what, never mind. Let's just take a look at the draft class after we look at the progress reports and stuff. So let's start off with our contract situation. Who's up for renewal this offseason again? Haken's the big one. He's an RFA at least, but it's only for like 1 year, right? Yeah, see, if we want to lock him up, this is the year to do so. So I need your guys' opinion, maybe 4 or 5 year deal at like 3.5. That might work. Mason is a pending UFA coming off 40 goals. He thinks he's worth $5 million. He's probably gone, which does make our center depth even worse. Then Booz is at least an RFA, but only probably for 1 more year. Yeah, and he's thinking he's worth $6 million or $9 million for 8 years. We're getting to that point where a lot of guys are demanding for too much. Dimitra thinks he's worth $7 million as an 80 overall. He was playing in the AHL this season. It's crazy. Mathieu thinks he's worth almost 3, which is not bad. But we do have guys like Anderson up to a 78, who likely could jump to our NHL team. Paco will likely be back again, but he thinks he's worth $5 million as well. We're going to likely have to qualify him. Hartman might be NHL bound. He wants a 2-way contract, but there is a good chance that some of these guys are going to jump up a lot. Addison might be back to the AHL again next year even. Oh boy. And then Hartnell being a 71 at 22 has to get a contract, but he's our OFD that we drafted in the first round. That was an overager. Yeah, that's not great. Goalie-wise, all of our goalies are up for renewal pretty much. Budens is ready to make a jump to the AHL. It's a 69 overall at 19. So I think both these goalies go. We run Solis, obviously, with Burkov probably in the NHL. Yeah, for sure. Then we likely run Budens and Michelli in the AHL is what it's going to end up being. So likely, yeah, Sonnenberg and Norton are both gone, which is kind of crazy. So there is that. Let's take a look at the progress reports. See if we got any unexpected growth or any drop-off even for that matter. Habscheid's up to a 78. That's pretty solid. Anderson's up to a 78 as we saw. He is listed as a 4th liner as well. So we will have some guys jump to the NHL likely next season to replace guys like likely Anderson will replace Mason on that bottom 6. And doesn't look like anybody super much dropped off. Let me actually take a look at age-wise. Yeah, see, Wilm hasn't dropped off at all yet, which is good. Ahinen is getting statistical growth. Mason is also on statistical growth. No wonder why he wants so much money. Lassik's on statistical growth. And yeah, goalie-wise, nobody even grew. In the system-wise, let's see. We know about Solis and Burkov. Yeah, Burkov is definitely ready to take that jump for sure. He's actually listed as a starter. It's kind of crazy. Mangone got a little bit of growth. Yeah, we might have a lot of guys jump to our NHL team next season. But in terms of like growth-wise, it's mostly our unsigned guys. Bernard Boucher, what a pick. Let's go. We were hoping that he'd become that team's Andre Palat. He has jumped to a 69 overall in 1 season. Insane growth from him. And yeah, there is a good chance this guy's going to be an NHLer at some point, which is awesome. Lutz went up to a 66. He got less growth than the 7th round pick last year, so that's not ideal, but he is a 66 at 19, which is not bad. Raymond's developing okay as well. Like, we are still getting growth in our system, but I feel like it's not enough almost, which is not great. But we likely will have some guys jump into our NHL team next year, and hopefully that's what we kind of need for this team. I don't really know. Let's see. Yeah, Hartnell's not getting a lot of growth, so if we sign him and he plays in the AHL for 1 year, he might be able to make the NHL by the time he's 24. That would be nice. Okay, so there is that. And final thing, the draft class. Where are we drafting this year? Probably pretty late, right? Yep, 29th. That's not great. The funny thing is, look at all our ratings. A+, A+, A+. And we don't make it out of the first round. I'm pretty sure my Jets team had very low ratings in terms of the overall stuff. But we actually were able to make it out of the first round with a roster that wasn't really that great. So I don't really know what to make of that. But let's take a look at the draft class. We're not drafting until 29th. Is there anything actually intriguing around 29? Let's see, 29th. Vatanen, probably just a top 6. Top 9 there, Norton. Top 6, D-Man, that's an offensive defenseman, and Brodziak. I know you guys want me to get OFDs, but he's only top 6. Yeah, this draft class doesn't even look good again. Top 9s and top 6s. I don't really want to turn up the draft class quality because I feel like it might cheat a little bit, but holy crap, have these drafts been really bad. Like, I have not found that many good steals. This guy might be okay, but I don't really know for sure. This guy might be 2 years out, did it say? Yeah, it might be 2 years out here. But he's a DFD. For some reason, I read DeKaiser as Deke Slayer for some weird reason. Richard Gudis is a top 4 guaranteed. And you also have a top 4 gem in Holden Morrison. Also 4 years out. Dane Clarkson might be a top 6. Is there any low elites guaranteed, though? Because this draft is looking terrible. Ooh. Guaranteed medium elite right-handed defenseman. There is a chance he's an offensive defenseman. He is 5 years out, though. The fact that he's similar to Dan Hamhuis, though, makes me think he's a two-way. But, yeah, medium elite defenseman. That might be somebody to look at for sure. Even though he's a low overall, likely. Since he's 5 years out. Any guaranteed low elites or other medium elites? There is some goaltenders, but I don't really know if we need more goalie prospects still. Mark Buss looks intriguing. Okay, Mark Buss is intriguing, but he's supposed to go 16th. So we can't even take him. Any low elites? Please give me some low elite steals I could take. That would be nice. No guarantees, but Jerry Coop supposed to go undrafted. We'll pin him. Dwayne Cahill. We'll pin him in case. Igor Chistov, I don't really know if any of these guys are actually that good. Yeah, this doesn't look like a good class at all, which is not ideal. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Halifax Raiders Draft Glory Franchise Mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to another offseason. We'll see what our team ends up looking like next year, but I think our team's definitely trending downwards in terms of how we're going to be in the regular season. Does that mean we're going to have better playoff success, potentially, because of how this game simulates? Maybe, but at the same time, I'm starting to lose a lot of hope with this team that we're actually going to be able to get a cup before guys like Wilm start to retire and drop off. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.